First of all, if you're not familiar with XCOM 2, it's a turn-based tactical shooter. Probably a bit simplified to call it chess with shotguns, but it's about outmaneuvering the opposition team, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your team, and you can build those into your unit development, and then adjust your tactics to use their particular strengths. So this won't actually be about how to play XCOM 2 and what tactics to employ, because I think the beauty of XCOM 2 is that you can make up your team composition any way you want to suit your particular play style, and there isn't really a correct way to do it to reach the end game. Obviously you can make it hard for yourself by not adapting your team to fit your playstyle. If you want to field an entire team of snipers because you don't like getting up close and personal, then that's your playstyle, and that will probably work for you. And if you like blowing shit up, you might want to field an entire team of grenadiers, especially if you like playing aggressively and just steamrolling and you're a very aggressive player. But again, you can make it hard for yourself by not thinking about what's best for the team. So these are just some thoughts on my team composition, the way I play, and the team I put together in order to make it to the end game, and to build up the strengths of my team in order to win that particular end game. When you're thinking about putting your team together and how to pick their particular skill set, be aware that each member of your team can be one of six basic roles. Everybody starts off as a rookie. After a couple of games, or if you've got, I think it's the advanced warfare section of your base build, you can then specialize them. You can make them the game actually defaults them into one of the first 4 specialities. But if you have the advanced warfare center, then I think you can pick a rookie and make them one of these particular specialists. But you've got the sharpshooter. The sharpshooter has 2 skill trees, either sniper or gunslinger. Gunslinger gives things like free shots with pistols, or it gives the ability to fire at multiple targets in one particular round with a pistol. Sniper, advantages to firing at a height advantage, the ability to fire on a target that someone else in your team has spotted, that even if you haven't, and the ability to cover a particular cone. There's all sorts of specialities, but sniper and gunslinger are the 2 trees. Then you have a ranger. Ranger is the opposite to a sharpshooter. They like to be up close and personal. They start off with a machete and a shotgun. You can either specialize them as a scout, so they move faster, they're less likely to be spotted, this kind of thing, or assault, where they tend to be up front with the machete, with the shotgun in your face. Free melee attacks if you get attacked or engaged at short range, that kind of thing. I like to think of them as ninjas on steroids, basically. Then you have the grenadier. The grenadier is somebody who lobs a lot of grenades using his grenade launcher, but he can either be a demolitions expert or a heavy gunner. They start off with some sort of Vulcan or Gatling gun, and you can either use that to strip armor from opponents, or you can target. You can put a target mark on an enemy so that your other teammates get advantages to aim. So demolitions and heavy gunner are those 2 particular trees that grenadier can go down. And then finally we have what's called a specialist, but I actually think of as 2 separate roles because I like to specialize in both. And you have the medic, and you have the what they call a combat hacker. The medic, you've got to have one in your team, basically. The ability to provide first aid, heal, can even bring somebody back. If your guy's been killed and is bleeding out, he can actually, not quite resurrect, but he can stabilize them and bring them back. The medic, in my mind, is key. You've always got to have one, no matter what mission you're on. Always make one member of your team a medic. And the other tree is what they call the combat hacker. Hacking is a big part of the game. Sometimes it's part of the mission. Sometimes you can, at the start of a particular game, you can take advantage of your hack skill and get into the enemy's computers and give your entire team a bonus for that particular round. I make my hacker an anti mech unit guy as well. But even though you can pick from both trees, I like to focus on one medic and one hacker.
This looks interesting.
Oh, and I nearly forgot the last team role, which you don't actually discover until you start building a psi chamber, is a psi operative. Psi operative can use the mind. If you've played XCOM, and obviously you know what XCOM 2 is about, psionics, the ability to attack somebody with the mind, to do mind control, is a key component of what the aliens are. And in return, you need to have somebody that's very good at removing those effects, or even being able to control a member of the enemy team as well. Now, to start off with, when you're on a 4 or a 5-man unit team, I don't think the psi operative is that important, but definitely mid to late stages of the team, and definitely the end game, having a very, very good psi operative, maybe even 2 on your team, is key. You can quite easily turn the tide of a game by having your psi operative control one of the key or stronger opponents, and have them fight on your side. 1, it takes them away from who you're fighting, and 2, you've pretty much then got a 7-man team for the rest of the game. So actually, the point of this video was for me just to recommend or talk about my team composition. Now, when you start out and you've only got a 4-man team, obviously what you want to do is put them into every single game so they level fast, gain the experience, so you can get the more skills under your belt. But the problem, if you do that, is that if you get a high-level character or a medic or a sniper or something like that, and then they die in a game, your team is flawed, because you then have to replace that slot with a rookie. And rookies at the kind of mid-level onwards are more of a hindrance than anything. They're just making up the numbers. So I would actually recommend rotating your rookies into the team from day 1. So alternate between teams, have an A team and a B team, and keep mixing them up at least until halfway through the game, so that any rookies that join your team, put them in a slot so that they quickly become a sharpshooter or a ranger or a grenadier or a specialist. That, to me, seems the best way to go. At one point, I didn't do this, and I focused on leveling up all my four characters in my team as fast as possible. I put them in every single match, and then my hacker specialist was one-shotted on full health, standing next to this huge, massive bot who just basically annihilated him, decimated him, and took him out. And as he went down, he cried, "No, not like this." And I just thought, shit, I don't even have a low-level hacker to replace him with. I've just got a rookie. And playing the game a couple of times since then, I've always tried to keep my team members mixed up, so that at the very least you rest a character every now and again, replace them with a rookie. On the more important missions, obviously you want to field your most experienced team in your better team, but you do want from the beginning to make sure that you've got replacements, so that when your team members do go down and they're either in the hospital, can't fill up the slots, or they're dead, you've got experienced units that you can replace them with, so I would definitely recommend keeping it mixed up. When you get to sort of a 5-team slot or a 6-team slot, that's when you want to start putting in your psionics operative. The psi operative is really important. I think mid-level game late and onwards. The main idea being that they can actually mind control a member of the opposition team and turn them to your side. And unlike the hacker who can turn a robot or a mech to your side for a few rounds, the psi operative essentially gives you an extra unit for the entire game. So to start off with, right at the beginning, as soon as your psi operative mind controls someone, not only can he carry on and play for himself, but you've also got one of the better units from the other team fighting for you. So it takes one unit away from them, gives you a team member. And the best thing about it is that it works on any organic unit, so you can actually turn a unit to your advantage that you don't have the skill set. So it's not just complementing your existing players, it's also giving you extra types of attack and aerial attacks and maybe even teleport. It works quite well on the codexes as well. So having a teleporter on your side makes a huge difference. So I would say mid-game onwards, mix up your team and put at least one psionic player in there. What I did want to point out was my particular team composition. So on a 4-team game, I obviously like to have one of each. So a sharpshooter, a ranger, a grenadier, and a specialist. And the specialist, at least on every single game, I like to be a medic. If you don't have a medic, you may lose a major character. It's all well and good having a first aid kit on a sharpshooter or ranger or a grenadier as backup, but don't not put a medic in there just because your other characters are carrying first aid kits. The medic gives you more health. He has multiple times to use his ability, and later in the game he can even bring back a member who is down bleeding out. So this is my my go-to squad. Pretty much one of each class. If you take into account the hacker and the medic are both specialists, but one specialising in one particular tree. So the medic class and the hacker class. As you can see with my hacker, I've given her blue screen rounds and EMP grenade. She's basically my takedown girl for any sort of mechs or automated things. Everyone's wearing warden armor apart from my grenadier, who is wearing the war suit. Unfortunately, he would also be my anti-mech, anti-robot guy, but he loses one of his slots when he goes to the war suit. So he has an EMP grenade instead of an EMP grenade and blue screen rounds. The medic is, as you would expect, except I give him AP rounds just to be on the spare side, safe side. My ninja is wearing wraith armor, so again she loses a slot. Instead of a psionic shield or any body armor, she has this, I can't remember what it's called, Hellfire under body armor, which is automatic fire damage to, I think, melee. So the serpenty thing that grabs you takes damage and also catches on fire. So it gives her a chance to recover from that kind of grab. Like I say, my hacker becomes a full-on anti-mech girl. The psionics guy, also give him EMP rounds just in case we come up against anything mechanical. but I also give him a psi shield just to maximise his capabilities. The last thing you want is for him to be taken over and controlled by an avatar. So he always carries a psi shield just to be on the safe side. And finally, my sniper. My sniper, as well as having the regen body armor underneath, also has tracer rounds just to give him that extra little bit of aim that he needs just to make sure that he's landing his shots and maximize his particular skill strength. So that's my go-to team. Sometimes I might swap out the psionics guy for an extra ranger. But generally speaking, one of each works for me, fits my particular playstyle, and allows me to at least counter anything that the enemy throws at me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.